This is huge. The New York Knicks have just received a major trade update as an NBA insider has revealed that a New York Knicks trade is coming within the next 24 hours, with all the rumors surrounding two specific big men in both Jericho Sims and Mitchell Robinson. And now we have an idea of what the Knicks will be doing at the trade deadline, and we're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always, as we now know who the New York Knicks plan on trading off of their roster as the trade deadline approaches, and it's just a couple hours away. But before we jump into the video, guys, make sure to subscribe if you're part of that 67% watching this video who's not subscribed and you want daily New York Knicks news, rumors, trade updates like this video, free agency updates, a bunch of fun live streams, a bunch of fun stuff on this channel. Make sure to subscribe. But let's jump into the video because we have a lot to discuss. Tim Bontemps, not Tim Legler, did reveal, there's so many Tims in ESPN, they gotta relax. Tim Bontemps revealed that the New York Knicks will be making a trade very, very soon at this trade deadline, naming a specific person in Jericho Sims, who likely is gone off of the New York Knicks now. As revealed by Bontemps, the Knicks are expected to move center Jericho Sims in a deal before tomorrow's trade deadline, according to sources who told this to ESPN. Sims is 26 years old and on a $2 million expiring contract and could wind up with one of several teams that have expressed interest in getting him. Now, these teams are, according to Michael Scotto, or some of the teams that have been interested in Jericho Sims are the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the Lakers are in desperate need for a center, and on top of this, it's important to note that as I'm making this video, right as I hit record, we did get the alert that the Washington Wizards are trading Jonas Valanciunas to the Sacramento Kings for Sidi Kosoko and 2 second-round picks, meaning the Los Angeles Lakers lose out on a guy who they did have interest in. Also, the Knicks do, but it is what it is. That's not too surprising. The Knicks aren't acquiring Valanciunas, as it would have required them to trade Mitchell Robinson. It is important to just note that in there very quickly, but on the topic of Jericho Sims, it does really show something that now we know the Knicks do want to trade Jericho Sims, and they most likely will be, with teams like the Bucks, Lakers, and Clippers being interested, along with the New Orleans Pelicans who have shown interest, the Houston Rockets have shown interest. There's a bunch of different teams that are interested in acquiring Jericho Sims and taking a chance on the big man that has gotten inconsistent minutes since his rookie year. Now, the Lakers just are in dire straits of someone who could play center right now. They basically have no one except for Jackson Hayes, who has been out of the rotation, and I hope he doesn't get signed to another NBA team because he's not a good human being, and Christian Wood, who has been in the Lakers rotation, but obviously is not a starting level big man for a team that is trying to win a championship with Luka Doncic and LeBron James, which is still so weird to say, but the Los Angeles Lakers do need a big man. Los Angeles Clippers could use some more depth behind Ivica Zubac, and the Milwaukee Bucks as well could use another big guy who can play the 4 or the 5, specifically with a guy like Bobby Portis, who could play the 4 or the 5 as well. It would help them off the bench and would add a little more low block defense to a team in the Bucks that really likes to have very good rim protection. Now, it's really interesting to see how this is going to go down because Jericho Sims, the only thing we know for sure is that he is going to get traded off of the New York Knicks. Now, Sims this season has not been specifically great. He's putting up 1.6 points and 3.3 rebounds, which are both down from his career averages. His field goal percentage is 10% down from his career average. His free throw percentage actually is up a little bit. And the win shares, I mean, nothing special. The PER is down. He's having a down year after having the year that was supposed to be his big breakout onto the scene after training with Mike Bibby and doing those post fades. And none of that ended up coming true, and Jericho lost his spot in the rotation. And now Ariel Hukporti is playing over him, which is a sign that Jericho is going to get moved within the next 24 hours. I have to keep my phone with me because in case Jericho gets traded right now, I do need to finish this video and probably throw the Jericho news into this, along with doing an entire breakdown of that, so I am keeping it ready. Look, trade season's wild, man. But look, as we come down the stretch to this NBA trade deadline and the craziest deadline in NBA history, we are realizing that Jericho Sims is the one trade the New York Knicks are going to make. They're not going to make another move outside of Jericho. Mitchell Robinson is not going to get moved. They're not going to trade Precious Achiuwa. It's just Jericho Sims. He's the only guy who's going to get traded off of the New York Knicks. So it becomes a question on what the New York Knicks will be trading for, or what they will be trading for when they move Jericho Sims. Do they just want cap space? Do they want a player specifically? That's the big question. What do the New York Knicks want? And how does the trade deadline? The fact is, the Knicks usually are the first team making the move. They like to set a tone. They like to make a move when all 30 teams are still kind of looking in that desperation stance. Now we've seen the Lakers become more desperate probably because they won't be able to go for Valanciunas, who's on the Kings now, which is a strange trade. Now we'll see other teams also jump in. I mean, the Pelicans traded away Daniel Tice. They could use a big man, and the Knicks still interested in Javonte Green, who puts up 6, 3.5, nearly a block per game, over a steal per game off the bench. Great shooter from the corners, and just in general, 37% from three. There's a guy like that. However, it also is important to note that because of these trades, some teams are out on Jericho Sims. As Stephen Bondi mentioned, the Mavericks had shown strong interest in Jericho Sims before they acquired Anthony Davis. Well, because Nico Harrison's a complete buffoon, the Knicks should try to trade Jericho Sims for Anthony Davis. I understand that doesn't work, but I just wanted to mess around with the fact that the Mavericks are an absolute trash heap organization that traded away a guy who was going to be their best player in franchise history because he was looking a little chubby, which is absurd when he just brought you to the NBA Finals. But whatever, the Mavericks are dumb. There's nothing to do about that. Look, it's pretty funny also that they had Jalen Brunson, Kristaps Porzingis, and Luka Doncic, and everyone was clowning us for the trade. And now, look, we have Jalen Brunson, and Porzingis is a champion, and Luke is a Laker. So it's crazy the way the world works. Mark Cuban must be fuming as he's no longer the owner. But look, majority owner. He still owns a minority stake in the Mavs. But look, Jericho Sims certainly on the way out now. There's no doubt about that. And it is mentioned by Knicks Feed, friend of the show, that mentioned that the Bucks trade that they made to acquire Kyle Kuzma, trading away Chris Middleton, longtime Milwaukee Buck, to the Washington Wizards in the process. Knicks Feed mentions it's an extremely small net, but with Milwaukee's interest in Jericho Sims, with the Bucks now under the second apron with this Middleton-Kuzma swap, they are now capable of engaging in salaries or aggregating salaries together, which makes a Sims trade possible with a third team involved. They'd still need to give out money, but they can trade more than one guy. And also, as Knicks Feed mentions, it wasn't initially because Jericho Sims makes them very slightly over the minimum, which means the Bucks would be taking in more money than they're sending out. Sorry, my back is killing. My back was so itchy, and I could not read because of it. It was really bothering me. But look, and also Knicks Feed mentions that they wouldn't be able to send an additional small salary because it would mean aggregating, which is just adding two contracts together, which they can't do because of the way that things go about it. I really hope that Siren outside has like a back scratcher for me. I don't know what is going on, but I have massive itch behind my shoulder blade, and you guys obviously need to know about my various shoulder blade itches, so you're welcome for that content. But look, in all seriousness, Jericho Sims is going to get moved. The question is where. I really think it should be the Pelicans for Javonte Green. That makes the most sense to me. You go out there, you swap two guys who make virtually the same amount of money. You give the Pelicans a guy to try to develop, while Javonte Green is a little bit older and is better for a contending team and is going to leave in free agency anyway for a different team. So they might as well move him for Jericho Sims and probably a second-round pick that the Knicks would be willing to give. Even if it's protected, it's a better deal for the Pelicans to have that than to just keep Javonte Green around who's going to walk in free agency. Obviously, there's a team that could definitely beat that offer out there if they want Javonte Green more. But if there is not another one, I think the Pelicans would do that just because they do understand getting the extra draft capital, getting a younger guy could make some more sense for them than anything else. It depends on what Leon Rose wants to do here, though. Does he just want to free up cap space? Does he want to just move Jericho for a second-round pick and call it a day and have that money to work with so he could sign a multitude of guys who have been waived or getting bought out and under the league's mid-level exception, which is $12.9 million? Because with being a first-apron team, you can't sign someone over that, so maybe they'll want to do that. Maybe they'll want to trade Jericho for someone like Javonte Green. Maybe they'll want to swap him for a different big man. Daniel Tice is also off the board with the Thunder now, so it really does lead to a very interesting trade deadline because obviously the craziest trade in NBA history and arguably sports history already went down. So now it's just everyone recoiling from that and doing what they have to do to make themselves a better team. And, well, frankly, guys, I think Leon Rose has been holding off because of some of these moves being made are pretty insane, and he's just taking things slowly. So I really am interested into seeing where the New York Knicks go with this. I can tell you one thing for sure, though. If Jericho Sims is on this team, 24 hours from now, I will be absolutely stunned. I fully expect him to get traded some point today, honestly. I don't think it's going to happen on the trade deadline day. It could. Leon's made a trade deadline day move before, acquiring Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks in exchange for Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, and Malachi Flynn. So it obviously is possible, but I truly do believe the Knicks are going to make this move at some point today. Late at night, probably around 11 p.m., because Leon Rose's last two trades, both for Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, happened late at night. So we'll probably see it then, but whenever that happens, I will get right on a video. So make sure to be subscribed to the channel for when that goes down, guys. Like this video, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.